Hello, it's Wednesday, and so it is Murdle time. So I filmed these back to back, and I am just off the back of filming last week's one, which I solved very quickly. So I'm feeling kind of flushed with success and confident about going into mystery number 12. So the mysteries are from this book, Murdle, Volume 2, More Killer Puzzles. There's a link in the description to this video to independent bookstores where you can buy this book. So anyway, mystery 12 is the murder of the butler. So, Deductive Logico took some time to read the blood-stained biography of Lord Violet. Oh, you'll remember that the butler, beloved Butler Beryl, was referred to in the solution to last week's mystery. So, Deductive Logico took some time to read the blood-stained biography of Lord Violet. When the draconian civil war broke out, at first he was an oddity, a noble who supported the Reds. Everything changed when his beloved Butler Beryl was murdered. So this is quite nice. We've not had this before. So this is a historic mystery. So the suspects, anyway, in the mystery are Lord Violet, burnt in a fire that killed his parents. He wore a mask from the time he was a boy. 5'9", right-handed, has brown eyes and brown hair. Lady Violet, the heiress of the Violet Isles, the largest extrajudicial territory in the world. She is 5'0" tall, or just 5 foot tall, is right-handed, has blue eyes and blonde hair, and the bloody assassin, a hired killer from the Red Revolution. He shows no mercy. He's 5'5", left-handed, has blue eyes and blonde hair. So the possible locations are the twin bed, which is indoors. Actually, it takes 2 of these beds together to make one twin. Actually, it takes... I don't really understand. That joke. The tiny window, which is also indoors, it's about 6 inches wide, but from 4:15 to 4:22 p.m. it lets in some light. And the single chair, which is indoors, it's supposed to have 4 legs, but it only has 3, which is why they let the butler have it. And the weapons are a standard sword, which is heavyweight, a typical sword with no particular distinguishing feature. A heavy purse, which is heavyweight. Finally, all that junk in there will be put to use providing inertia. And some leather gloves, lightweight. Beware someone who wears leather gloves. They've already killed a cow. Who next? So the clues and evidence are the shortest suspect sat in a single chair with a regal pose. So the shortest suspect is Lady Violet. So we know she was sat in the single chair. A brown hair was found in the tiny window. Oh, so I said last week that hair colour had never really played a part in these mysteries, but now it is. So we know that the person with brown hair, which is Lord Violet, was by the tiny window. The bloody assassin was a red, so he did not carry a heavy purse. Okay, so we can rule that out. A standard sword was certainly not in the single chair. So we know the standard sword wasn't in the single chair. So we've got a lot of negatives rather than positives in the clues this time, which might make it more difficult. Lady Violet did not carry a heavy purse. So the final clue then is the body of beloved Butler Beryl was found on his tiny bed, which I assume means the twin bed, because I guess that's what that joke was, that they are very small. So anyway, let's flip the camera and give it a go. Okay, so here we have our grid to help us solve the mystery. So let's go through the clues in order again. So the shortest suspect sat in the single chair. So we know that Lady Violet was sat in the single chair. So we can put a tick in there, and therefore we can put crosses there and there. We know that the murder took place by the twin bed. So we can put twin bed in there. A brown hair was found in the tiny window. So we know that Lord Violet, who's the only brown-haired suspect, was by the tiny window. So Lord Violet, tiny window, which therefore means that we know that the other person, the bloody assassin, was by the twin bed, which surely means the bloody assassin must have been the murderer. So twin bed, bloody assassin. So we know it was the bloody assassin, which kind of makes sense. My guess is that it's the sword is the weapon. This may be the easiest mystery ever. Right, the bloody assassin was a red, so he did not carry a heavy purse. So we know that the bloody assassin didn't have the heavy purse. A standard sword was certainly not in the single chair, so we know that the sword wasn't there. Lady Violet did not carry a heavy purse. So Lady Violet didn't have the heavy purse. So therefore, Lord Violet must have had the heavy purse. And we also know, therefore, that the heavy purse wasn't where Lady Violet was. So where was Lady Violet? Right, this is where my brain stops working. Right, so Lady Violet was in the tiny chair, wasn't she? So we know that the heavy purse wasn't at the tiny chair. We also know that the bloody assassin didn't have the heavy purse, so therefore the heavy purse cannot have been in the tiny window. Which is the one I've ticked off already, all crossed off, so fine. Right, so I've done that in the wrong order, but anyway, we've got there. So therefore, the heavy purse must have been in the twin bed. And therefore, the gloves must have been by the tiny chair. So therefore, all that's left is the sword by the tiny window, which is wrong. I've made a mistake. Hold on, I've made a mistake with this. See, overconfident from last week, I've made a mistake. So let's go back again. So the heavy purse. Right, so Lady Violet did not carry a heavy purse. So Lady Violet is here. Lady Violet was by the tiny window, so we know that the heavy purse wasn't by the tiny window, so that's correct. We also know that the bloody burglar didn't have, the bloody assassin didn't have a heavy purse, and the bloody assassin was by the bed. So this doesn't make sense. Because if the bloody assassin didn't have the heavy purse, then that means no one had the heavy purse. No, we know Lord Violet had the heavy purse. I almost feel like I might have to start this one again. Let's go through the clues from the beginning. So the shortest suspect sat in the single chair with a regal pose. So we know that Lady Violet was sat in the single chair. So tick. So therefore she wasn't there or there. Brown hair was found by the tiny window. So Lord Violet was by the tiny window. The bloody assassin was a red and so did not carry a heavy purse. Standard sword was certainly not in the single chair. So the standard sword was not in the single chair. Lady Violet did not carry a heavy purse. Lady Violet did not have the heavy purse. And the body was found in the tiny bed. Okay, so we've deduced, haven't we? So we know that Lord Violet was by the tiny window, and we know that Lady Violet was by the tiny chair, or the single chair. So therefore, the burglar must have been by the twin bed. So the burglar is definitely the assassin. Sorry, the assassin is definitely the assassin. Okay. So these are the ones I think these are the ones where I was starting to try and deduce things and failing miserably. So let's cross those out. Right, okay, so Lady Violet did not carry a heavy purse. Lady Violet was in the single chair, so we know that the heavy purse wasn't at the single chair. So therefore, the gloves must have been at the single chair. So that follows. Okay. Next, I wonder if this is a trick. This is a trick one, and there is no solution, but we shall see. Right, so maybe I'm just being hopeful at my own incompetence. Right, what's next? We know the bloody assassin didn't have the heavy purse, and we know that the bloody assassin was in the bedroom, or by the twin bed. So therefore, the heavy purse was not by the twin bed. So therefore, the heavy purse must have been by the window, which tracks, because we know Lord Violet was by the window, and we know he had the heavy purse. So therefore, it was the sword, and I was right all along. So it's the assassin with the sword by the twin bed. Okay, clearly I should have just gone with my gut like a proper fictional detective, and I would have solved it much more quickly. So let's flip to the back and see if my gut was indeed correct. So I am saying assassin with the sword by the twin bed. It was the bloody assassin with a standard sword on the twin bed. When Lord Violet saw his beloved butler Beryl dead, he wrested the sword from the bloody assassin and fiercely attacked him. But he missed his target, and the sword broke in two, and the bloody assassin got away. Lord Violet took the body of his dear friend and servant, and he buried him on a small island near his home. He and Lady Violet had a private ceremony, and they shared their grief. Soon, however, this grief turned to rage, fury at the bloody assassin and the Reds who had sent him, and he vowed to spend the rest of his life and as an officer for the Holy Draconian Army. So I did solve it correctly in the end. Okay, so thank you very much for joining me again for another Murdle mystery. I should be back next week for another one, which will be number 13, Chaos on the Cliffside. So yeah, come back next week for another instalment in the ongoing adventures of Deductive Logico. Cheers.